Hey guys, Gravener here. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Contest of Champions. And today we're going to be talking about Alliance War defense characters. Now, I don't have a screen pulled up to pull these guys over and show you guys synergy bonuses because honestly, when it comes to Alliance War defense, I don't even look at synergy bonuses. I really don't. I just pick out some of the best characters that I think would work on defense and I throw them in. You can see my defense currently in Alliance War. Right now we don't have one going, but I do have my team picked out, and on my team currently I have Storm, Juggernaut, Ultron, Magic, and Colossus. Now I stuck my 5-star Magic in here because Magic absolutely does some huge damage on node 43, where she gets 100% attack and health, increase all power gain by 200%, 80% nullify on mystic ward effects, enemy nullify effects have an 80% chance to fail, and the 25-second plagued mind. I like this node for her because of the fact that she has the increased power gain, which means that she's going to be popping limbo off more. So that's pretty cool. And the Mystic Ward, if you go up against her with a Mystic that can nullify, you're not going to nullify as much. That's good for Limbo as well. So I like that. Plus, on top of the fact she gets 100% attack and health, and the opponent has a less opportunity to use a special attack with Plagued Mind. So we'll see how she works out. It's the first time I'm sticking her on there. We'll see how that works out in the long run. But other than that, I mean, Ultron's always a good character to bring into defense on Alliance Wars because of the fact that he can regen, he evades at rank 4, and he's got a lot of health and a pretty decent attack, especially if he gets off some bleeds on him. So I just stuck him on this node here because he's going to have, thorns. That's always good for regeneration characters. He's going to have enhanced armor, so it's gonna work out. I think it'll work out pretty well. Here's the thing with Alliance Wars on defense. It really doesn't matter who you stick on what nodes. If a person is good at Alliance Wars on offense, it's really not going to matter because they're going to be able to plow through them. We had a pretty good setup, I thought, in the last Alliance Wars with everything. And the guys that went up against us were just really good at Alliance Wars, and they just plowed through them. So it's just it varies. It really does. It varies. It depends on what characters they have that they can take up against. So, but I've also got Colossus on a thorns node. I like putting Colossus on this thorns node specifically because of the Infinity Blast that comes off of it. Blast a portion of remaining health effectiveness changes to match the class relationship of both champions. So let's say if you go up against him with someone that's a tech character, they're not going to take any kind of damage whatsoever. Take him up against somebody that's not a skill or a tech, they're going to lose a portion of their health. Take them in there against someone that has, which is usually what people do. They'll take Black Widow in against the Thorns nodes. Black Widow going up against him is going to take a significant amount of damage at the very start of the fight, and it's not gonna matter because she's taking that automatic damage just because of that fact. I also like bringing in Storm. Storm may not always have the best health in the game, but she's got a really high attack and crit rate. So I like throwing her in because of the fact that she can actually do some pretty good damage. And throwing her on this node here, 100% attack and health plus the 50, that helps out a whole lot. All or nothing, and starts with one bar of power. So it's going to take her less time to get to her L3. And whenever she does use her L3, it's probably going to wipe somebody out. I mean, it might not kill them, but it's going to get them ready for the next character that they go up against at least. And Juggernaut's always a good character to bring into Alliance Wars on defense, especially if he's awakened. An awakened Juggernaut is mostly a pain in the rear end. Because most of the time, if you're going up against the Juggernaut, it's always a lot of evades. You have to evade a lot. You have to be able to parry. You have to be able to block him. You have to be able to stun him, especially if he's got unstoppable on, and he's going to pop off unstun. He's going to pop off unstoppable at least a few times during the fight. So that's always a good thing. We've also got some other pretty good characters in here. Venompool's a good character. I like Venompool for Alliance Wars on defense because of the fact that he's a hodgepodge of two characters. I mean, he's a hodgepodge of Deadpool. He's a hodgepodge of Venom. So you've also got the fact that he has his L1 that comes off of Venom. So it's a little bit, he's a little bit more unpredictable. Venom in itself is unpredictable, but Venompool is a little bit more unpredictable. I like Venom's L2 a lot more than I do Venompool's, but he's still a good character to put in. Anytime you've got a Spider-Man that's awakened, Spider-Man is absolutely amazing anywhere on the map. Doesn't matter where you put him, just because of that evade property that he's got. But you want him awakened. I mean, you don't want to just throw in an unawakened Spider-Man in here because he's just going to get his butt whooped. If you've got an awakened one, you throw him in, he's going to be doing pretty decent. Rhino's another one, especially with the updates that they did to him, where he has the potential to be unblockable, and he's got unstoppable on his swipe forward attack, his medium attack. It's pretty decent. He can be a little bit of a contention to go up against, especially awakened Rhino with the Rhino skin. That's pretty awesome. Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster is another good character that you can bring into Alliance Wars on defense. Is the fact that he has armor up like crazy. He takes little health whenever you're doing attacks to him. Takes a while to take him down. So the longer you can make people stay in fights, the better. That's one of the key things with Alliance Wars on defense. If you can't kill the person, but you can make them last long in the fight, there's potential for more mess ups that are going to cause lost health, or there's potential that they could run out of time, which, as far as I know, to my recollection, if they time out, that does count as a defensive kill. So there's that point as well. But usually you want people to stay in fights longer. That way that they have potential to lose health. And it can throw them off their game the longer they're in the fight. Unless they're like really, really good at clutch fights. Now, I also like regen characters like Iron Man and Superior Iron Man. They're pretty good to put on Thorns nodes as well. Any kind of regen character is usually pretty decent on a Thorns node. Colossus, Ultron, Iron Man, Superior Iron Man, Hulkbuster. Those are usually your really good go-to characters to put on Thorns nodes. Or a Juggernaut. Anybody that has high health, or can regen, or has beneficial effects to them that makes it so that it's harder to fight them. Those are the ones you want to throw on there. A lot of people, I know, for the longest time they would throw electros on the Thorns nodes because you're getting double the damage. I mean, in theory, it's a really good idea to throw an electro on there because he's going to be dealing out double the damage. But the problem with that is a lot of people like to bring in Black Widow for those Thorns nodes. And if you've got an electro on a Thorns node going up against a Black Widow who has a high level of subtlety, what good's that really going to do? You've pretty much wasted that node completely by throwing him on there. Now, don't get me wrong. Electro is awesome anywhere else on the map. You could put him on, like, just throw him anywhere randomly. And hopefully by the time that they get to him, their Black Widow will be pretty much spent at that point. But I just like throwing him just about anywhere. I personally, right here, node 39, I like throwing a lot of electros up in this area because there's no way that they're going to have a Black Widow ready. Usually the one person who brings a Black Widow in is going to take the path with node 25. They're going to go up, hit node 10, move over to node 25. and there's no buffs up top where thorns are involved. So usually a person won't bring a Black Widow on that path. So if you throw a bunch of characters up there that Black Widow would do well against, you're going to be hurting somebody, I think. Or at least I used to. That strategy usually always worked whenever I was setting up maps for my my battle group in my old alliance. That's where I would throw a lot of those characters. I'd throw a lot of Spider-Mans. I would throw a lot of Electros. I would throw a lot of like Rhinos, any characters of that essence. I would just kind of throw up on the top area. And I liked using it. It was a good strategy. It seemed to always work. I never had any issues with it. Now, I'm not really sure what some of these other people have thrown on here, but I don't really see anything out of the way. Oh God. Civil War Black Panther. Now, I don't have Civil War Black Panther, but Sal does. And that guy can do some intense damage in Alliance Wars on defense. If you have Civil War Black Panther, this is exactly where I would use him at, because of the fact that he's got those reflective armors that can potentially stun a character, and he bleeds like crazy, and it's a lot harder for people to go up against characters that they don't know as well. So if you throw Civil War Black Panther in there, you throw in Agent Venom, you throw in Crossbones, you throw in Falcon, characters that are newer to the game that people don't really know as well as some of the other characters in the game. They don't know their fight styles as easily because they don't face them as much. Usually you end up going up against most of these guys in normal quests, and you kind of know their habits and what they do. But if you take in newer characters, it's kind of going to throw people off their game a little bit. Like, I remember the first time that I faced an Agent Venom in Alliance Wars. It kind of threw me off my game a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have any issues taking the guy down. I really didn't. But it still threw me off my game. And that's one of the key aspects to Alliance Wars that you want to do. You want to throw people off their game, because if you throw them off their game moving forward, they have more potential to be able to mess up. It's mind games, really, in a way. If you throw characters out there that they don't know, they're potentially going to be worried about the next character that they go up against. So newer characters work really well in Alliance Wars, especially characters with abilities like Civil War Black Panther. He's insane. Agent Venom is also one that's absolutely insane, because he could potentially, do a tenacity whenever you do a parry and you're going in for the kill, and he just all of a sudden starts waylaying on you. But those are some pretty good characters. This is not too bad. I mean, it's a pretty good setup that we got going here. As far as bosses go, it really just depends. Spider-Man's a pretty decent boss. Ultron's a pretty decent boss. Wolverine's a pretty decent boss. There's a lot of characters out there that work well as bosses on these nodes. I don't know all of them. The only ones I've really ever seen used are Juggernaut, Spider-Man, Ultron, Wolverine. I haven't really seen any others used that frequently or that often. Most of the time, whenever we go into a war and we have to fight opponents, these are usually the characters that I see on those nodes, as well as, just like Spider-Man and Juggernaut and Ultron. And Ultron is usually the favorite that I see a lot of people using. And most of the time, I don't even know. Usually, we don't even get to the boss for the most part, because of the fact that most of these nodes are just overhyped anyway, and we don't spend a lot of money on it. I don't spend a lot of money on it. I don't see the benefits in it. If you're going to lose a war, you're going to lose a war. And if people are willing to spend to do that, then there's no point in trying to match their money just to kind of feed the machine. But that's really about it. I mean, there are some other characters out there really good for Alliance Wars that probably aren't on here. Maybe you guys have some kind of ideas who you think are good characters that you use in Alliance Wars that isn't being currently used on this map. If you do, leave it in the comment section below. Start a conversation. Let's talk about stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, these characters here are usually the more used, more saturated characters that are really, really good for Alliance Wars on defense. And like I said, I did end up with synergy bonuses from this team. But for the most part, I don't even look at that kind of stuff to see what the synergy bonuses are, because the nodes really kind of do that kind of stuff for you. And I don't even know if it really benefits that much to have like a huge synergy bonus team on Alliance Wars defense. It's not really that big of a deal. But alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it's your first time watching the channel, please consider leaving a sub on it. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. And as always guys, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.